All right, so we are on the emergence of labor unions, and we've talked about labor unions in the past when we went over Russian Revolution. We talked about them a little bit in our modern issues unit, so you guys should have a little bit of an idea about what labor unions are. If you got to the episode in the Men Who Built America series about the Homestead strike with Carnegie and Frick, you could watch this, and that'll make a little bit more sense to you as well. So one of the things that we need to look at is why labor unions became a thing. So a labor union, if you talk to your parents, I'm sure your parents are probably in a union depending on their job, or they don't like unions because they're the boss of someplace and unions are bad for them. So normally parents have one viewpoint or the other. Either they like unions or they don't like unions. Myself, I'm a member of the teachers union, and most people where they work, if they work with a lot of other individuals at the same level and you're not the boss, you are probably in some type of union. So these here are the reasons that labor unions emerged. One was poor working conditions and low wages. Obviously, the workers wanted better working conditions, a little bit safer, and they wanted higher wages. So the people got together, formed a union, and they demanded better treatment and better pay. One of the things that the steel mills wanted, and check out how crazy this is, they wanted a 7-day, 12 hours a day work week. That means they're literally working half their lives. It's not a 40-hour work week like what we're used to or accustomed to today. They were literally working 12 hours a day. Now, obviously, that is going to evolve into what we have today, where it's like 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of play is the way that we think of it, and that was something that came about in the early 1900s. Some other things that happened is the equipment was not safe for the people. There was faulty equipment; it would cause injuries. And the thing is if you got injured, you guys have probably seen commercials for Aflac and things like that. If you got injured on the job, you just lost your job. You weren't able to, keep working. They just hired somebody else that could do your job better than you could with a broken arm or whatever. Another negative thing was everybody in the family needed a job, which means kids were now working. So child labor became a thing as well. All right, so if you look at this chart here, this chart is from 2011, and it kind of looks at the way that we, go about our day. So you sleep about 7.6 hours a day. I would love to get 7.6 hours of sleep, but with the baby at home, I'm not getting that much. Our work related is between 8 and 9 hours. So already between sleep and work, we're at 15 to 16 hours, which is 2/3 of our day. So we have some leisure activities. So those of you that do some gaming, or you're outside playing, or you have practice, those types of things. Well, obviously you're not doing that stuff right now, but you could still be outside doing those things. That's about 2 to 3 hours. Household activities, eating and drinking. Now this here is for the United States. In other countries and other cultures, their eating and drinking takes a lot longer. Their meals are a lot different than the way that we eat here in America. We eat really fast and we don't really sit down and have that family time. Other cultures, it's a lot different. So we're going to look at some specific labor unions. The first one is the National Labor Union. Obviously, it's spelled a little bit different, but that's still labor. This is the first large-scale union. It was formed in 1866. They were pretty racist and did not allow African Americans to join. All right. What happened as a result is there was a formation of the CNLU, which stands for the Colored National Labor Union. The main thing they wanted was an 8-hour workday. They were well ahead of their time. You guys have probably seen some stuff out there for the Knights of Blank, or the Knights of, there's Knights of Columbus, there's things like that. And that was originally a labor union. All right, these were workers, or this was a union that allowed workers from basically anywhere. And one of the things that we're going to look at with these labor unions is how they differed and who they allowed in. Some labor unions wanted skilled workers, where some wanted unskilled workers. So that's one of the things that you're going to have to draw a difference when we get into the rest of these labor unions. Workers in this union could be from any different type of race, any different type of gender, or any different degree of skill, so skilled or unskilled. They too wanted an 8-hour work week. This ends Industrialism number 12.